Hello, everyone.
Hello.
All right, just want to make sure you were here.
And away.
All right. Lord, we thank you again, Father, for the opportunity to be able to gather together in your name, Father, and we ask for your blessings upon this meeting, Father. We ask your blessings upon our country. We ask your blessings, Father, upon the transition that's going to take place between administrations coming up, Father. And we thank you, Lord, for the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence that our forefathers sought to write in accordance with your principles and precepts, Father. And we pray that we would be able to stand and protect it. Thank you, Father, for all you do for us. We pray your blessing on every person here and on every family represented. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Born and unborn.
Born and unborn. Thank you, Joe.
We're going to move into
Stay here. Make the instructions well.
This is the year in review video. New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.
Did we already lose this one? No, that one's dead. Okay. Are we on? There we go. Okay, Happy New Year, everyone. We're hoping this year, 2025, turns out to be a spectacular year. And we got a lot of things still to do and a lot of things that are going to happen with the Grassroots, with our country. And we just want everyone to enjoy the 2025, enjoy the win that we had in November, and let's move on to a very, very great, prosperous new year, and we look forward to it. So, okay, Steve, you're up.
Again.
Can you turn that up just a smidgen?
We have a Prayer Warriors meeting the first Sunday of every month at the Fox's home. And you've all heard me say it before, but for any new ones that are here, we move mountains. I really believe we do. It's a dedicated team. Everyone's invited. To me, I always find it interesting when we start praying and over an hour later, and it just seems to flow, and everything comes out, and I know we make a difference. In fact, a few weeks ago, or last month, I guess, or 2 months ago, we prayed for the prodigals. All of us probably have a son or a daughter or a granddaughter or something that's kind of left the fold, and we've already had 2 positive reports from those prayers, my own and Joseph's, and I'm sure there's others. So really encourage you to come out. I think we make as big a difference there as we do when we're out here on the street. So you're all invited. And
I don't have any more slides for you.
oh,
But you've got something in your hands.
well, I've got it in my head too, but
Okay, go ahead.
I'm used to the slides. Okay, we also have a men's prayer breakfast on the second Saturday morning of every month at 8 p.m. And I noticed we've got a YouTube channel now, and Pete's got a new recorder. Look out. And I know he recorded the message that was given by Joseph Fox this past Saturday, and it's an excellent one. I don't know if you're going to put it on that YouTube channel or not, but it would be a great idea, and it was about all of our responsibilities to pass the light, to carry on the revel of Christ to our children and grandchildren. And I think everyone there was challenged by it and encouraged by it. And it's a big responsibility for all of us. Also, we have "Don't Stop Praying" signs. No, they won't stick in the ground right now. But if you got a snowbank, they're on display there in the back. We're asking $5 donation for them. And definitely, if the snow melts, then we can stick them back in the ground. But we still got several of them left, and encourage you to pick one up if you could. And Newaygo Right to Life is doing the Newaygo County Right to Life March for Life. It's being sponsored by American Decency, or I should say the location is going to start at American Decency on January the 18th, next Saturday at 11 a.m. And again, I think it's always, I love it when the church gets out in the street and makes himself evident, and people see that the church isn't just behind the walls. We're active and we're making a difference. So I really encourage you to come out if you can. And this is how I don't have a slide. I don't know if I have another thing. Oh, I have a question. How many of you attended the biblical citizenship classes when we had them? A few of you. We went through the Constitution. It's a video series, 8-part video series. It's put on by Patriot Academy, and it is really excellent. It's really well done. We're considering doing another one if we can find, if there's interest out there in doing it. How many would have interest in attending if we do another one?
Explain what it is, Steve.
We go through Constitution, its foundings, all of the documents that support it, and there's 300 and some biblical precepts that are in some way mentioned or ingrained in our Constitution and in the Declaration of Independence. And I've got a t-shirt that where I should have worn it tonight. It says, don't rewrite the Constitution, reread it. And that's so true. I thought I knew the Constitution, but going through that class made all the difference in the world too. And it's interesting because everybody thinks the Constitution ought to be done away with, and if they just read it, they would understand that it needs to be adhered to, not done away with. So we may bring that out again here in a few months or a few weeks if possible, if we get a response.
It's an 8-week course,
Yeah,
right?
8 weeks.
And it's always the same night of the week.
Yep, and it's about an hour to an hour and a half long. Each one's a little different, but they have great instructors, and it's educational for sure.
So a raise of hands again, who would possibly attend something like that?
I'd be more apt to attend if we put it online and did it on Zoom or something, rather than doing it at either here or at a church building. Online would.
Could you do either? I mean, like,
We could do
it
both,
on Zoom
yeah.
or in
Yeah.
person?
That's very doable. That's probably, now that Pete's got a recorder. All right. Well, thank you all very much.
Okay, let's introduce Joe Fox, our state representative. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, this is the second time I've been recorded by you, Pete.
I know.
So anyway, I brought along handouts. If you want to grab anything, grab it before 7:30. That's when I need to leave. I have to leave for Lansing by 5:30, 5:15 tomorrow morning. I got to be there by 8. So they're back there on the table on the right as you're going out. And I'll make a few comments, but as always, open to questions. You probably all have heard about the DNR and the acreage up by Gaylord. Just so you know very clearly, the Republicans are fighting it tooth and nail. We put out a letter last week, and that was sent directly to the DNR. I have heard that the people who want to lease the land, the company that wants to lease the land, is backing away. And I've also heard, someone here was sharing with me tonight, and I agree, the rank and file of the DNR are not the ones who are going for this. You know, it's not the local guys and gals who are working for the DNR. It's the leadership. And we've got a lot of bureaucrats, many of them I would call faceless bureaucrats, who are running not only the DNR, think Eagle, think things like MDARD, other agencies that have initials, okay, in Michigan. A lot of them are appointed offices, and they in many ways are not looking out for we the people. They're always asking the question, it's kind of two questions. How can we make more money? I know the DNR is pushing to increase the cost of your hunting licenses, okay? I don't know if this one officially got through. There was a bill that was in the works before we walked out on December 13 that was going to make it an opt-out on your, when you register your car. Right now, you have to opt in to get the state park little P on your little sticker, okay? Well, they wanted to turn it into an opt-out, so you have to check a box. So in other words, if you're not paying attention, you're going to get charged that extra amount. So anyways, look and see if that's on there when your registration comes. But long story short, quite a few bills that did not make it through. Some of them never even got transferred from the House to the Senate. And Teresa and I were talking about 10 of those that are on that list. And this all goes back to a decision that our leadership made, and I was totally in agreement with our leadership, that we should walk out on December 13th, Friday the 13th. Okay, from the Democrat perspective, it was a Friday the 13th because we even had one of their members join in with us, Karen Whitsitt, okay? And the walking out basically was driven by not putting up bills, that we had bills, and one of them was both a Republican and a Democrat package, okay? We had bills to fight against this taxing of tips and this paid sick leave. Now we've got brand new ones. They may well be the same bills. I just know I signed on to them when I was there last week. And they are taking testimony on these bills already tomorrow. I had a call from Diane Schindelbeck today. Some of you may know her. She's going there to testify as a small business owner tomorrow, so maybe I'll get to sit in on that testimony. But we are pushing back on it quickly. And I will say very clearly, I'm just going to make a few statements and then I'll see if you have any questions. It's very clear that in the House that the lame duck has limped away, okay? There's no question about it. We had, 2 whole sessions where we weren't there, and that, well, actually 3 sessions, the day we walked out, plus 2 more the next week. So the lame duck is no more. There's a new sheriff in town, and I'll tell you the quick story on that. And the backstory, first of all, is that many times over the last 2 years, we could sit for 2 and 3 hours waiting for all the Democrats to get there, okay? Because they had to have 56 to pass their bad legislation. And I'm not talking minutes, I'm talking hours, waiting, okay? Well, what we did last Baptist guy on Thursday. But anyway, we got in there, we prayed, did the Pledge of Allegiance. Our new Speaker Pro Tem, Rochelle Smith, a good solid Christian woman from north of Kalamazoo. She got up and got us started. We put forth a resolution, we said aye, and then we adjourned. Boom, 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 okay? That's the new sheriff in town. And very honestly, Democrats were still trying to get in their seats, okay? And you could just see them kind of milling around over there. And we were done, and I got to come home, and that feels good. A few comments about committees we're putting together. Well, first of all, please be in prayer for our leaders. I've already mentioned Rochelle Smith, Matt. I'm trusting that what he says is solid. He is Jesus, that he has Jesus in his life. He got married last summer after living with a woman for quite a long time, I think, but taking some steps in the right direction. So he is our speaker. Rochelle Smith is the Speaker Pro Tem. She's the one that gets to wield the gavel. And if you contrast her with the Democrat Speaker Pro Tem, the Democrat Speaker Pro Tem was about this tall, and I'm not being anti-height right now, but about this tall. She had to literally stand on a block in order to be up over the top of the rostrum. Rochelle is about this tall, okay? And her and I often stand together in pictures because she doesn't want to look like she's taller than everybody else. She's Dutch, Christian Reformed / now it's more of a Assembly of God type church she's attending, okay? So keep her in your prayers. And another exciting appointment that was made, so this was an election, you remember a lot of us voted for Andrew Fink for state Supreme Court. Well, he was appointed as our caucus general counsel. Okay, he's a lawyer, Hillsdale educated, solid Missouri Synod Lutheran guy, very committed to Christ. He's got his kids at the Hillsdale Academy, and it's really good to have him around because he's a young man who is well educated and who you can go and talk to, and I've already done it a couple of times about things.
So what's his position now?
He is now general counsel for our caucus. Because we get more money in majority, we can hire more people. And now we have 3 lawyers, one who's serving as chief of staff, and so she's one, and then we have another lady, I think she's assistant general counsel, I forget what she's called, but we can go to these lawyers directly and have them do research for us and figure out the ins and outs of what's going on. So one thing that Andrew put out, it was just Saturday or yesterday, but now our staff can once again, if they've got their CPL, can carry. Okay, so that does not apply to the general public yet. I saw your question in your eyes. Okay.
Are they gonna change that?
I have not heard comment about it yet, but I'll keep.
Can you push on that?
I can ask the question.
Okay.
Yeah. And some other things that are being done is 5 oversight committees are being set up, and these oversight committees are going to be looking backwards. Okay, think elections.
Yes.
Okay, think about how money is spent. Think about Goshen. Think about other, etc. So these 5 oversight committees. I've said I'm willing to be on one of those, but I've also especially talked about education and agriculture are kind of my 2 areas of strong ability and experience. Let's see. So those committees should be in place by the end of the month. The House rules were revised, okay? And I'll just highlight a couple of them for you. One is, it used to be that the Speaker of the House could control our budget, our mailings, our staff, okay? And they would use that control to punish people who did something naughty. And I'm being very childish as I say this, but we have had at least 2 or 3 of our fellow House members punished because of comments they made on social media or because of things that, especially last year, the Democrats didn't like, okay? So that House rule has been changed to the point where now we as House members, as representatives, are in charge of our staff. And, if something egregious happened, okay, somebody was caught doing or saying something, the Speaker could still be involved, but for the most part, it's us as House members who are in charge of our staff and our budget. So that was a big thing. The other thing, and I already mentioned the invocations, it is encouraged in the House rules that those who do invocations be reminded that we're invoking a higher power, okay? That we're not there to say a poem of Brother Sun and Sister Moon, or do a drumming, or some other thing that could go on, okay? So those are all very positive things. And one final comment, and I should have asked Steve to make this, but you saw mention up there that there's a prayer call every night at 9 o'clock. And that prayer call has been going on since the 2020 election. And it's a vital thing. Hundreds of people join in at that prayer call. This prayer call has started, and I've been very much a part of a prayer that's happened for about the last 18 months. I know Steve has been there. Some other Newaygo people have been there. I don't see anybody else here tonight that's been there. But once a month, we have gathered. Just before the election, there were over 100 people gathered in the Capitol in room 426. We've had to move out of room 426, and we're kind of in transition this month on January 30, there's going to be a meal and prayer, just kind of a celebration in relation to the election. So if you're interested in more details on that, and that's not in the Capitol, but it's in the Freedom Embassy, which has lots of windows, and you can see the Capitol from that Freedom Embassy. So I think I've done enough time. Any questions lurking out there?
Is the new Speaker of the House, is he gonna, I've heard that he's gonna go after Whitmer or investigate.
That's what those oversight committees are all about.
It's just.
Oversight and investigation.
It's not just her, it's
Right,
others
it's the
as
big
well.
picture, yeah. Yeah, we have a over-regulated, over-controlling group of people, and most of them, sad to say, most of these bureaus got put into place by Republicans, okay? With the goal of making things simpler and easier and less costful, less expensive. But the thing that tends to happen with bureaus like that, and this is government in general, the idea is that you get a budget and you spend it or you lose it, okay? And if you spend it, therefore you are justified in asking for more the next year. The goal isn't to spend less than you spend, okay? And I think I've used this illustration before with just this last budget. EGLE, E-G-L-E, Environment, Great Lakes Energy Committee, they added on 16 FTEs, full-time equivalents, full-time people. And those 16 FTEs, supposedly a lot of them have to do with the whole DEI type of stuff. Making sure we keep track of our pronouns and who we hire, et cetera, making sure that cows are males or females or something. I'm not sure exactly how far they try to go with it. I know that one local farmer was told that their calf pens were in the wrong place. And because, pardon my language, shit runs downhill, okay? And they were worried that they were sitting on the side of the hill and that all this, cow poop was gonna end up somehow in a ditch somewhere, okay? But long story short, we need to really check into what's been going on with elections, with spending, et cetera, yeah. Yeah,
Joseph, one thing, it's nice that we're gonna investigate, but there is no teeth in it.
Well,
And
there-
we might expose,
Right.
but that's about all we get out of it.
right. Well, that's a good question about how far we'll be able to go. These committees do have subpoena power, So then it will, I expect there's gonna be a lot of lawfare going on, a lot of lawfare going on and trying to uncover things. But hopefully, at least the uncovering of things. And so much about the 2020 election has been uncovered. If anybody's ever looked at Patrick Colbeck's stuff, again and again and again, so much has been uncovered. It's just now we need to say, okay, yes, that's right. Now look at the fires in California. So much has been uncovered there that has not been
Matt
happening.
Hall get his speakership because it was his turn, or did he get truly elected?
He was,
Sometimes these guys get in there
Right.
because it's now his turn to be.
right. It's a good question. So the vote was taken with, I think there were 55 of us, maybe 56 of us there that day. A couple of us weren't there. And so you had to have a majority. And just so you know, the vote was 30, we don't know the exact number, but I was close enough to the table that I could count the two piles, because it was, and it was 30-something to 20-something. So it wasn't that everybody was saying, hey, Matt. When it got to the floor of the House, everybody voted for him, including the Democrats. Yeah, but it wasn't just a turn thing. There was another fellow who was campaigning hard. His name was Tom Coons, K-U-N-S-E. He's from Clare. But, I guess, but I do think that he is stepping up. And that's my opinion. Yeah. Anything else?
Thank you for walking out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you very much. You're also, okay, it is our, you want to do this?
So, one of the positions that will be voted on at state convention in February is for Grassroots Vice Chair. And I did try reaching out to get both candidates that I know of, and I was unable to reach one. But my friend here, Chris Long, he has been involved in the Goshen fight for many, many months, and he has been an integral part of uncovering lots of deceptions and things that needed to be exposed within the Goshen fight over there in Mecosta County. So I am very pleased to introduce you to Chris Long and let him speak to you.
Thank you. I'm Chris Long. I'm running for MIGOP Grassroots Vice Chair. One of the reasons is I've been involved with this whole Goshen fight, and we have not had any representation from the MIGOP other than the chairman's come. Both chairmans, both Geronimo was involved, and now Pete Hoekstra was involved. So both sides were involved, but we didn't have any other representation from the MIGOP come around. And especially the Grassroots Vice Chair. Now, there's lots of stuff that the Grassroots Vice Chair was doing, so I'm not going to bash her. I have a lot of respect for her, but there's more things than just Oakland County on the other side of the state. We have us and the rest of the state. And so I've been involved with the Goshen fight for 18 months. I don't know, I've lost track. But the other thing that I've noticed is that the vice chair roles in the MIGOP has more or less been ceremonial titles, given to people that feel entitled or whatnot. There's no KPIs in order to measure performance, of whether they have completed their job duties, whether we should re-elect them, blah, blah, blah. There's no KPIs in place right now. And the job of the grassroots is to turn out the vote. Election integrity is very important, but you don't have anything to protect the integrity if you do not turn out the vote. If you don't turn out the vote, you won't have anything to protect. So we need to focus, unite the grassroots. I've talked to many people across the state, and there's lots and lots of different factions. So the grassroots is a very complex thing. And it's fun. I've been a software engineer for the last 15, 16 years, so I've worked with many different people, diverse from different ages, but I'm a problem solver. I'm in the automotive industry. And so we really need to unite the grassroots. Our single job right now needs to be 2026 and electing a Republican governor. Yep. We need to have a conservative Republican governor. That's the job of, that job will be for the primary. We need to be successful in the primary. If we're not successful in the primary, we need to back whatever Republican there is, because we cannot afford to give it back to the Democrats in 2026. And we need to win elections down ballot. In Mecosta County, we've won, we recalled the whole township board. We recalled a supervisor at another township. We then went after the county commissioners. We replaced 4 of the 7. So now we have a majority. We have a majority everywhere. We did that through planning, organizing, and executing. That's one of the big things that I do not see in the MIGOP. There is no plan. What is your plan for 2026? How do you plan to pull out the vote? Well, I'm a software engineer, and I am actually working on an app that's a grassroots connection app. We need to have better communication across the state for all the grassroots. Yes, there's the Turning Point app. Yes, there's this campaign sidekick. I used it. I went to 1,200 houses and 1,300 phone calls over this Trump Force 47. The app sucked. Okay, all of the app sucks. Okay, I'm building one that is for the grassroots, so that we can get data. A lot of the apps are expensive. I want to get all the Grassroots campaigns a free app with data, metrics, so that you can go out campaign, you can do phone calls. Another thing is I want to be able to track where the signs are so that your campaign managers can determine where to put the signs, strategic locations, things like that. There's a lot more with the app that we can go into detail later on with. But I want to equip the Grassroots across the state like we did in Mecosta County with plans and strategies to be successful. You have to plan, you have to organize, you have to execute. You have to do that. If you don't, we won't win. And 2026 is the most important thing we need to be focusing on right now. A lot of people are really focused on celebrating the Trump victory. I know I am, but come next week, it's like, all right, time to focus on 2026. If we don't, we will fail, and that's going to be a problem. So anyway, if you have any questions, let me know. But I ask for your vote if you're a delegate at the convention in February. So does anyone have any
Can
questions?
you tell us the
Oh.
dates on that convention?
Yes, but thank you, Joe, for endorsing me. Joe, Representative Joe Fox endorsed me for the position. The election is the 22nd?
21st and 22nd.
21st and 22nd, yes. So the District 2, or all the districts will be voting the Friday night, and then the next day will be the vice chairs and chairmen.
Is that January or February?
February. So that would be February 21st and 22nd, yeah, at the Huntington Place in Detroit, yes.
Hampton Place.
Is it now the
Huntington.
Hampton?
It's Huntington?
Huntington.
Huntington.
I thought it said.
Hampton's where you stay.
I was like, they changed it again? What?
I don't know.
Yes.
Are you familiar with the gentleman out of Illinois that spoke last week with Stand Up Michigan? What was his name?
Barrett Davies.
Barrett
Yes,
Davies.
I was at that thing, that
Yeah,
event.
that's right.
I was there. I did listen to it. I, as the person that is able to develop the systems and have used other apps, I'm trying to give this away so that we're successful. We shouldn't have a price point where we have to get and donate $30,000, I think he was talking about. I mean, hey, he might have some great data, it might work, great. Maybe I should partner with them so that we can share our data. That's fine. Well, I need to work with everybody, okay? But we need a singular app where we can engage in events. We don't need to be duplicating efforts. There's so many different groups around that you got, all right, District 2 is doing something, well, Newaygo Grassroots is doing something on the same day. Why not combine resources? Yep. Or a whole west side of the state doing something centrally located. We need to be focusing like that because we have to turn out the vote. If we don't turn out the vote, it doesn't matter. And the one thing I've also learned is unless, well, we're not activating the Grassroots because the only time you can activate the Grassroots that I've seen is when you have a lightning rod candidate like Donald Trump. But even then, you still don't win down the ballot. What we saw, 3 months ago now? Feels like just yesterday. So, any other questions? Well, thank you very much for inviting me and letting me come speak. If you guys need a brochure or flyer or whatever it's called, it's right over there and in the back. Thank you.
Okay, like Teresa said, that is one of 2 candidates that are running for the vice chair for the MIGOP. We were unable or unsuccessful in getting the second candidate to show up here. So we aren't going, I don't know, maybe possibly our next meeting because it'll still Newaygo?
Cedar Springs.
Cedar Springs for us. This is awesome. Melissa Kenny.
Precinct delegate now for City of Newaygo. Precinct delegate now for City of Newaygo.
Good.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
she is.
Along with Gail Carter.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
she is.
Along with Gail Carter.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me and how I became aware of this topic. Please don't let this scare you away yet. Okay? So I've come a long way in my life In my 20s, I would say I was kind of more on the side of libertarian, would kind of bounce between libertarian and Democrat, depending on who I thought was anti-war and who was going to not send foreign aid to any country with an outstretched hand, especially if they didn't need it. So anyway, the topic I'm going to talk about tonight, it's kind of funny because the topic is buying American. However, if you follow me out to the parking lot, you'll notice my make of vehicle and you'll be like, what? So anyway, if anybody knows of an American auto industry that makes as good of vehicles as Toyota and Honda, please let me know, okay? So anyway, how I first became aware of the topic that I'm going to tell you about is from NPR, because probably about 20 years ago or so, when there were different wars that were being fought and about to be fought, I was attending a lot of war protests at the time. And I listened to this broadcast on NPR one day, and it was talking about food products in China. And I became aware at that time that there were a lot of Chinese people who were not buying baby formula anymore that was made in China. Instead, they were buying it from Japan. And the reason was because their babies were starting to develop breasts. And so evidently, there was something wrong with the formula that was making the babies produce breasts. So you can go ahead and advance to the next slide. So I want to share with you a few things. One is a website. It's called notochina.org, and that's kind of like where I stand with things. Is I'm especially against Chinese goods, Chinese manufacturing, foods that come from China. So I'm not saying, because if you look at, like I was saying, at my car in the parking lot, I'm not saying I'm entirely against these automakes, although I used to live in Bloomington Normal, Illinois, and there was a Mitsubishi factory there, which I had friends that worked at that factory. So American made, yes, no, there's some involvement there. I'm going to talk more about why we should not buy from China. I'm going to talk a little bit about Amazon and how it gets a little tricky buying from Amazon. Barcodes, do they really reveal anything? And then I have some example items. So this is a website. Have you heard of this? This is a really, in a minute, I'm going to have you pull up their website. It's in the notes of my presentation. So anyway, this organization you can see here is dedicated to helping people find alternatives to products manufactured in China. So not just saying only buy American, but here are some alternatives. For example, there are some products out there that you cannot find anything of that particular product made in the United States. Point being, electric toothbrushes. You can't find any made in the United States. Even regular toothbrushes, manual toothbrushes, those are hard to find made in the US as well. And if you do find them made in USA with what? Global parts. Yeah. So you don't know what's on those bristles that are going on your mouth.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you look.
So you advocating no brushing teeth anymore?
You can use sticks. Those are definitely made in the U.S. So anyway, this organization, notochina.org, you can find different manufacturers that aren't made in China. Like for instance, I was trying to find electric toothbrushes for me and my kids, and I found some that were made in Germany, which, by the way, they've turned out to be very good. Oral-B Braun, okay? So, you can see here that American and European countries, or companies, excuse me, have looked the other way with regards to the Chinese Communist Party's record on human rights, which include the environment, consumer product safety, quality control, and intellectual property rights. And would you mind pulling up that website now, please?
I don't know how to find
Let's
the
see.
notes.
Is this a touch screen? So this is a really informative website. You can see there's a lot of different things you can click on here if you're looking for clothing items, which so many of our clothing items now are made in China. I've read things like 2/3 of the world's textiles are coming from China now. There's different blogs that you can look at. So if you're shopping for a particular item, I would suggest going to this website. And it's so easy to just walk into Meijer and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy this pair of gloves. But if it's something that maybe you can wait a little while, try finding it online. So for instance, the other day I was needing cheesecloth. And I went to Kronk's. I love Kronk's in Newaygo. However, all their cheesecloth was made in China. So I went on to Amazon and I happened to find this. Well, it's a little bit deceptive. American cotton. However, it is American cotton, but it's grown in America, woven in Pakistan, sold by a company in New Zealand. So I mean, it's really tricky finding stuff that you can find that is entirely American made. All right, let's go back to my slides.
Just go to the tab at the top, Jim.
All right, so this is another reason why to not. Sorry. This is another reason why to not. Let's try this again. Here's another reason why to not buy from China. Like we just saw on the previous slide, the notedchina.org. They're talking about the lack of consideration for human rights. If you've heard of the Uyghurs, it's the largest minority group.
Uyghurs.
Is that how you say it? Uyghurs, okay. All right, I wasn't sure how to say it, so thank you. Uyghur? Okay. So anyway, you can see that they have been accused of committing crimes against humanity and possibly genocide against the Uyghur population and other mostly Muslim ethnic groups in the northwestern region of Xinjiang. Okay, that.
Nobody said you had to speak Chinese though.
So this is something really interesting I came across recently, and there's a podcast you can listen to here about the plight of Christians in China. My understanding is it's not only Christians, it's also Muslims. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about Muslims in just a little bit. So this was on the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom. And Christians are horribly persecuted there. I'll talk more about that a little bit later. But are any of you familiar with this organization, the Voice of the Martyrs? Okay, they'll send you a magazine to your house, like, what is it, like every 2 or 3 months?
It's monthly.
Okay, monthly, and it talks about different religious groups around the world and how they're being persecuted and how we can support them. All right, go ahead to the next slide. All right, so this is another organization called Open Doors. I've heard of this, I'm not super familiar with it, but I found this on there. I kind of summarized things. What does persecution look like in China, like for Christians? You're seen as a traitor if you abandon Buddhism or Islam. And I thought that was kind of interesting because earlier it was saying that Muslims are persecuted. I've been hearing that as well. However, I do know, having known a lot of people of the Muslim faith, having friends of that religion, that they are persecuted if their family decides to leave Islam. Okay, so did I say that the way I wanted to? So if you were part of a Muslim family and you leave Islam to become Christian, you are pretty much persecuted, might be ostracized by your family. Sometimes Christians are persecuted, threatened, and harmed by their family members. I've been hearing that there are genocides of both Christians and Muslims going on in the country. Churches that give allegiance to God over the Communist Party are viewed with suspicion because Christianity is thought of as Western. House churches apparently are tolerated. However, children under 18 may not attend, and that was supported in the podcast that I was listening to. Apparently they can be monitored or shut down at any time as well. So when you're buying something, check where it's made. Think, do I really want to support a country that's doing things to their people that we entirely stand against?
And if I can just add to that, part of the Marxist agenda, and it's here in America too, churches can do what they want as long as they stay in their four walls. The problem is getting outside the four walls, so that's ties directly into this. I mean, think of what happened during the pandemic, quote unquote. They were trying to keep churches closed or within their four walls, and it's still happening on the part of those who are against Christianity, against the Lord.
Yeah.
Does Taiwan count as China?
I don't know all the politics of that.
From whose perspective?
Well,
I deal with this on a daily basis.
If it
because I
says
work
made
with
in China, it could be coming from Taiwan, couldn't it?
No,
It has to say Taiwan.
Say Taiwan.
no, from China's perspective, Taiwan is China. From Taiwan's perspective, it's totally separate. Technically, from Taiwan's perspective, real technical, China is Taiwan's because in the 1940s, in the 1940s, the government of China exiled to Taiwan, and that's where they seeked refuge when the communists took over. So technically, chicken or the egg type situation.
The lesser of two evils, maybe.
But the Taiwan's much better. But Shanghai does make better pineapple cakes. They do.
I'll take your word for it.
Pineapple cakes, yeah.
So, yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, go back. So this one. All right, so this happens to be something I found Canadian, but I did hear, I can't remember if it was on a podcast, and then I found this that was of the same vein, that apparently there's been a Canadian study finding that cheap, fast fashion from online retailers may be exposing themselves to potentially toxic chemicals. And they found that out of 38 samples of children's, adults, and maternity clothes and accessories, 1 in 5 items had elevated levels of chemicals, including lead, PFAS, phthalates, I don't know if that's how you say that, and they found that. What I had heard is that in Korea, they did studies of some of the products, particularly like from Shein and Temu, the clothing items, and like over the top, off the charts levels of carcinogenic materials used in those products. And so it's illegal in Korea to sell those items, but China can ship them, have them sent in. So like if you're ordering from Shein, Temu, most likely, in fact, I don't know if there's an exception, it's coming directly to you from China. So be aware of those products because a lot of times they're containing carcinogenic materials. All right, so remember I was telling you about NPR? About 20 some years ago, they were talking about that a lot of Chinese people were not getting formula from China, but rather ordering it from Japan. Apple juice. This is a big one that apparently is very hazardous. And it's, here you can see that about 2/3 of the US apple juice supply comes from China. So years ago, I worked in Sparta for a little bit at the high school. Old Orchard Juices is right there. I learned at that time, and this was about in 2009, I believe, that their juices were coming from China. And I looked it up recently, and it sounds like most of their juice is coming from China still. And I also read recently that if you are buying not from concentrate apple juice, most likely it is from China. And so I look at it like, okay, if I'm buying a food product and it doesn't say where the produce is coming from, I'm guessing it's probably from China. You could always call the company to ask.
Being in the trucking business, years ago, Old Orchard sold all their orchards, and all they do is import, probably from China, concentrate. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
With all the apple orchards around there.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here we're supposed to not be leaving a carbon footprint, you know? Yeah.
And our apple farmers are, some smaller ones, going out of business.
Right.
Did you check with the ciders? Or where the ciders getting their?
I haven't asked before, but I usually try to go to the Amish and,
I meant like Angry Orchards and things
oh,
like that.
no, I haven't asked. No. Right, go ahead. Oh, let me go back to that slide for a second. I wanted to bring up one more thing, sorry. So notice here, I thought this was really interesting, that the US government celebrated how market reforms in the 80s encouraged Chinese farmers to diversify their income by planting apples and other horticultural plots. However, it's saying here that people in China don't drink apple juice.
They don't.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Green tea.
So Amazon. It can be really tricky buying from Amazon. Last night, my son was asking me, Mom, hey, I really need some new winter gloves. And so I just went into Amazon. I try not to order from Amazon, honestly, but I was like, okay, let me see what's out there. And I wanted to do kind of a test for this as well. So I put gloves, winter gloves, made in USA. Yeah. And when I would search through things, I wouldn't find anything that said it was made in the USA. Sometimes you can find origin and it'll say China, but sometimes it's not evident. And apparently India is really far ahead of almost any country of saying where their products are made. That's something that I wish that we could have more of. Mr. Fox?
Well, and it's interesting when you start talking leather, especially here in western Michigan, years ago, we used to do all kinds of tanning and leather and what have you, but now those who are catching up on the PFAS are finding that those, what came out of the leather tanneries are much of what has polluted our soil. Okay, yeah, go to Rockford, you can go to Oceana County, you can go up to Petoskey, and PFAS is not just a fire retardant, but it was used in those leather tanneries. But now, a lot of it's happening over in Asia, and they're doing the same thing to their environment, and not carrying it away.
Yeah. Yeah, I've read that the textile industry over there, that there's so many, with the dyes and everything that are used, it's like killing their water supplies over there. Yeah.
So what I've tried to do when I'm looking on Amazon is, like, I've been trying to find an organic cotton castor oil pack to put castor oil in your belly and help you detox. And I've looked on Amazon and people have sent me links, and every single time I look, you can look at where the shop that is selling it, and you can do this on other products too. You look at the shop that sells it, go click on the link, and it'll take you to their landing page for that particular shop, and you just scroll down a little bit and you'll see where it's incorporated or what country it's in. And 100%, every single time I've tried to find one of those stupid things on Amazon, it's made in China. Or it's got the the corporate head, it's in China.
Yeah.
So, and you can do that, try and do that with anything I'm buying from Amazon, check the shop and see where the shop is located. And if it's in China, I just move on. So I don't have a casserole pack yet. Maybe I'm gonna get one.
There's a website called Public Square. Find stuff that's American made. I know that those are a lot of American companies, but yeah, you have to be picky on there too.
All right, go ahead. So these are some companies that I have bought some products from. I don't know if you've heard of this. I love it because they're in New York. I want to say it's called like Elma or something like that. But anyway, if you call there, somebody answers the phone, hello, made in America. It's really great. I mean, you're not listening to like, you know, please press 1, please press 2 if you want this, that sort of thing. It's just really down home. It actually got a lot of things there. A lot of the Christmas presents that I got for my family, I ordered from them. Wigwam socks, made in the United States. My understanding is they're really great socks. I ordered some for my son recently, and I haven't heard him complain, which is unusual for him. So. Gregory backpacks, made in the USA. I believe they're made in Utah, if I'm not mistaken. MadeInUSAForever.com. They've got a lot of things that you can order from them. Vermont Soap Company. If you like Castile soap, which is a really safe alternative to like commercial cleaners, they've got their own laundry detergent. They've got several different products. David's toothpaste. Teresa, you were talking about fluoride a month or so ago. This is a fluoride-free toothpaste, and they also say proudly made in America, and I did some research on it, and apparently it is entirely American-sourced ingredients as well. David's, yeah. Send it around if you want. This company is actually up in Kalkaska, and recently I ordered some window treatment kind of stuff from them, like not the drapes themselves, but the curtain rods and then some tie backs and that sort of thing, and they're all like metal crafted. All right, go ahead. So this, I had mentioned earlier that I was going to be talking about barcodes, and apparently you can look at the barcodes and figure out where it comes from. Now the thing is, like if you look at Old Orchard juices, it has, I can't remember if it's a 0 or 1 at the very beginning, which tells you, okay, it's manufactured here in the United States, but then again, where did the materials come from? So these are the numbers that would start with for China. So,
Is that 600?
yes, the 600s, like 690 to 695.
So is 666 a part of that?
No.
Not quite.
This also assumes that they're following the standard.
Yeah,
Yeah.
assuming they are following the standards. And if you go to this website, I deleted a lot of them, but this, just to give you an idea of where products, like if it's 489, it's Hong Kong, 500 to 509, United Kingdom. And so you can see I deleted a lot, but just wanted to show you an example of what it looks like.
Which part of the barcode would have that number? Because the first part is usually the store, something having to do with the store that it was in, I thought.
So this that I have, it's a company in New Zealand. It starts with a 9. So probably if you were to go there, you can figure out what 9 is. So yeah, this was something else I ordered from Amazon. I was like, oh, okay, American cotton. But then like I was saying, it arrived to me, oh, woven in Pakistan, and oh, comes from New Zealand apparently. So it's made its trip around the world apparently. So I think that this is somewhat of a reference tool at least. And in some cases I found it to be somewhat accurate. Not in every case though, like for instance the Old Orchard juices, yes, it's manufactured in the United States. You go to their website, oh yeah, our recipes are here from the United States, we're manufacturing here in the United States. But the manufacturing, it sounds like, is where it ends. All right, next. All right, So, I brought some example items. Light bulbs, I order these from Amazon. I've asked, the hardware store in Croton, I can't think what it's called right now. I've asked them to order, yes, M&J. I've asked them to order this for me, made in USA light bulbs. Meyer, none of their light bulbs are US made anymore. In fact, I don't even think I find my made in Hungary light bulbs there anymore. But these are made in USA of US and what? Global parts.
product.
But at least it's here in the US. Can't
All the
win for
LEDs
losing, I
will
guess,
come
with
from
this.
Taiwan.
This is something else, silicon-based, food storage containers. So like if I take my lunch to work, these are kind of nice. So you're not using as much plastic bags, and apparently silicon is a bit safer than plastic. So, you know, if you take your lunch, this might be a good alternative. And these are made in the USA, and my understanding is US silicon as well. Expensive, but I figure it's kind of an investment. All right, that's all I have. Oh, wait a second, I want to show you this. This is made in Reed City. Maybe you're familiar with this, Tatler.
That's Norm's company, avoid it.
Avoid it? Seriously?
If you know who Norm is.
Really? Okay, because I know somebody that,
Nartron, do you know what Nartron is?
no,
Okay, never mind.
okay. But anyway, I know one of the guys that helped make the mold to make these. Made in Reed City, it's,
Tatler.
yeah, Tatler, they are lids and rings that are reusable for canning.
Oh.
Yeah,
May I say something for everybody's benefit here?
Quickly.
I got suckered in, I can't believe it. But you're gonna see, the Elon Musk technician little space heater that warms your room in no time and saves you electric. Give me a break. $50 down, I threw it in the garbage. Wow, I got suckered in big time.
will it even work as a hand warmer? I mean,
No,
no.
it goes up to, it starts out, as soon as it starts warming up, you can see the temperature goes up all the way back down to 32. I mean, it works for a minute maybe, and then it's done. It's done.
I wondered about those.
Anybody else have any more questions? Thank you very much, Melissa. You are wonderful. If anyone has any questions for Melissa, she'll be here probably to the end, so you can catch her in the back. All right, well, first I wanted to let you know about our new Newaygo County GOP board. These people were elected at the executive meeting at the executive meeting in December, which was, I believe, after our Christmas party, if I'm not mistaken. So John Llewellyn is the Newaygo County Chair. Natasha Belmont is the co-chair. Norm Knorr is the secretary, and Jason O'Connell is the treasurer. He was the treasurer the last time, but he has also agreed to be treasurer this time. Any questions?
So we got that email from John Llewellyn, or it came through Norm, or somebody, anyway, I was so confused. I'm reading it and I'm like, this is, what? Half of it made no sense.
That's exactly what we were thinking.
And why was everybody responding to it? Because he was saying you should respond to the call to the convention, right?
Well,
Yeah, which we already got.
let's just say they're in
So people were, I
transition.
think, confused,
Yeah,
I
they're
guess.
in transition, so
And
we'll
people
leave
don't
it
know
at that.
how
We'll
to
see how long
respond.
transition lasts.
You know, you don't have to reply all, you can just reply back to the one person who sent it to you.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a thing.
And then I'd like you to meet our Newaygo County GOP Executive Committee. Now, a lot of you already know who these people are or knew about this part of it. These are the at-large members. These are the people that are going to have a voting capacity at the GOP meetings. So that's 15 of the 30. So those are the ones that have been elected by the precinct delegates at the county convention that we had in December 3rd or 4th or somewhere around in there. So that's 15 of them. So you should recognize a lot of these names. Jim Kelly, he's here tonight. Nicole, she's here. Teresa's here. I don't think Kim's here, but she's a Grassrootser. I'm here and Rick's here. So we have a few. Nicole's here. I thought I said that. Oh, I didn't say that.
Yeah, you did.
I did?
Yes, you
Okay.
did.
I just saw her back there, and I'm like, oh, I didn't say that. So we have a pretty good stack of Grassroots that are in the GOP as an executive committee. What was that? Question?
Are those on the previous slide, the EC, the executive committee members, and this being the at-large? Typically, the at-large is the elected of like county and state positions?
No, this is just Newaygo County, our Newaygo County GOP.
Right,
At
right.
large.
Yeah, I know. I guess
No, he
maybe it
says
might
no.
be different in Mecosta. We just call these members the ones that are on the executive committee, and then on the next slide is the at-large members.
Oh, we call these these are the at-large in our county, and then if you go to the next one, these are the electeds. That's how we do it. We just call them the electeds, because they just have a seat no matter what. And that makes up our 30. We only get 30 because we have 15 electeds, we get 15 at-large.
Except,
Oh, don't go
I'm
there.
not gonna say.
All right, so these, everyone probably knows, Rick Outman is our state senator, he gets a seat. Joe Fox has a seat. Rachel Robinson, our prosecuting attorney, she has a seat, which I've never met her. Bob Mendham has a seat, Jason Vanderstelt has a seat. Everybody on here has a seat, and you pretty much all know your county commission, or your district commissioners. So all of those people have a seat, they have a vote. That makes up 15 of the votes and 15 on the at-large side. So we have 30 total. And then we have the 4 board members who, some were, I think only one is a executive committee member,
Yeah.
because Belmont didn't get elevated. So that makes up that's our new GOP. Any questions with that? Our upcoming event that's coming up next would be the Newaygo County Convention. That is Thursday, January 30th at the Fremont Rec Center. We are asking all of the precinct delegates to go to that. We will be voting on who will be elected as delegates to attend the Michigan GOP convention that's going to be held in Detroit on February 21st and 22nd. So, the more precinct delegates that go, the more votes we will have for the delegates that we would like to get to the state. Now at the state level, that's where the chair will get nominated. That's where the vice chair, or the Grassroots vice chair will be nominated. And then also district caucus members. So like our District 2 people, like right now that's what Randy Guppy's in that. Stack is in that.
Friday night is the district caucus, so that's where all the districts will meet in separate areas, and you will elect your district representation. That's Friday night. So it's important that if you plan on going, that you please try to go to both Friday and Saturday. And Saturday is where you're going to elect your chair of the state Republican Party, your ethnic vice chair, Grassroots vice chair, I can't remember all the different.
Administrative vice chair,
Yeah.
coalitions vice chair, outreach vice chair, youth vice chair.
There you go.
There you go,
Yeah.
thank you.
So all those will get elected on
The 22nd,
Saturday.
the Saturday.
Yeah.
So, if you have any interest as a precinct delegate to attend the Detroit convention, please reply to the email that John Llewellyn sent out in regards to the call to convention, because that is what he asked. He also asked that if you wanted to go to the Detroit convention to please reply, because he would put you on a slate or on a list.
Oh, if anybody is going to the convention or would like to come and support me and would like to wear a t-shirt or whatever, I have a group of people that will be wearing t-shirts there, and kind of handing out flyers to the rest of the delegates, let me know, just get in contact with me or Teresa.
That might be kind of fun, more fun than the convention itself.
Yeah, even if you're not one of the delegates, you can go, I just need the name,
yeah.
and I can get you as a guest pass, you won't get the vote, don't cheat,
Right,
No cheating.
but,
but,
yeah,
you
cool.
can at least be there and experience it.
Okay, excellent. Okay, and then the next one is the MIGOP State Convention. That's coming up February 21st and 22nd. I have it at the Hampton Place Convention Hall. I read it right off the form that I was, whatever. Sorry.
So
That I have right, I know.
Huntington.
It's at Huntington Place. Okay,
Whoop, go back.
go back one.
Man,
Go
you're too
back
quick.
two.
Just need the arrow buttons.
And the purpose of this convention is electing the district caucus members and the state party leaders, so that's all I wanted to say about that. Yep.
There you go.
Okay, surprise, surprise, on February, at our February 10th meeting, we want as many people as we can to pack this room. Because this is where we're gonna find out what these MIGOP candidates for chair are going to have to say. So we have gotten confirmed all the chair candidates, and they will be each getting a little bit of time to speak, and then we will do a questions and answers with them at that same time. So I created a new page on our Newaygo County Grassroots site. So submit questions for these candidates at this page, and if you go to the next screen, I'll show you what it looks like when you get to that. So it's www.newaygograssroots.com/question. That's all you have to put in there. So here's what it says. It's got submit your question for a round robin Q&A. Don't miss our February 10th Grassroots meeting. Who will be our next MIGOP chair? And it's got all the candidates. You fill out your name, first and last, your street address, city, county, because we don't know if people from other counties are going to be submitting questions, and then state and zip, your email address, your number, and then it's got question to be addressed to. So you could fill out all the candidates. You want that one question to go to every candidate, or you want that one question to go to Joseph Sella, Michonne Maddock, Jim Runstead, or Scott Greenlee. So you can pick who you want that question to go to, because it may be a specific question to the candidate that you know something about them that you would like them to answer. Please go back. And then type your question in, and then as a courtesy to someone from out of county, I put in here to opt in if you want our Grassroots text, and also to opt in if you want our Grassroots emails. The MIGOP chair is a very important position for our state and our party. We encourage you to visit the address above and ask as many questions for these candidates as you have, and then we'll have the round robin Q&A with these candidates at our February 10th meeting, so it'll be fun.
Just one side note on that, because I've heard a lot of different things from a lot of different people. There's sometimes a confusion with it. The purpose of the Grassroots Vice Chair is not legislation. It is fundraising for the MIGOP. That's the purpose of it, period. So, I'll leave you with that.
For the vice chair or
For the
director?
chair, what did I say?
Vice.
I meant.
Oh, yeah, yes.
We're talking about chairmen.
Yep.
That's what I meant.
It's not for legislation, it's just fundraising.
That's majority and for maintaining the meetings and things, but at the end of the day, you have to raise money. If you can't raise money,
Gotcha. Okay, so again, the Scott Greenlee is running, Michonne Maddock, Joseph Sella, and Jim Runstead. You can look these people up. They all have sites, at least I found them, except for I could not find Joe Sella's site. I don't know if he doesn't have one or if he's just working on Facebook. But
I'll reach out.
research this. Research
I'll reach out
these
to him and
candidates.
ask.
Because look, the MIGOP is the Republican brand, right? And so if we're putting someone in that seat that maybe isn't a Christian or maybe doesn't have a conservative, really staunch conservative view, or, you know, well, I don't know, just whatever. We want somebody in that seat that is going to think like we the people think. If they're more on the, you know, left of center, maybe we don't want that person. So let's do some research. And here's the other thing. Maybe you aren't going to convention. Maybe you're not going to be able to vote for one of these candidates. But you certainly can contact the precinct delegates that are going to the convention and let them know your opinion of the candidate you would like them to vote for. We are the people, so they need to hear from us if we're not gonna attend. Okay, next three. A must watch. Take a picture of this with your camera or your phone. I would like everyone to actually watch this video. It was extremely,
Informative.
very informative. It was more than that. I wouldn't call it informative. I would call it more of a view of how I believe the government is dealing. Functioning.
Operating.
And it was, it kind of gave an oversight of what really does need to happen in our government. And if it doesn't happen, it's not good. So I would really, I thought it was a really, really good video, and it's an hour and a half. You can open it up on your phone and then screen share it to your television so you have it on big screen, or you can go to the Tucker Carlson network and get the app on your Roku television or whatever. It's a really good hour and a half long show. Tucker is very good.
I can verify that, we watched it together.
What did you think?
I didn't even fall asleep.
No? It was good, wasn't it?
That's a miracle.
Yeah, it was very good.
Just saying.
Okay.
Excellent.
Just a reminder, our traveling breakfast club for January, the month of January, is at the Diner Between the Dams, every Thursday at 9 o'clock. So try to be there if you can. It's fun. We like it. I like it. Upcoming events. Stay tuned. We're looking at having some movie nights here in the near future. Some of them that we're considering. Not that these are the ones that we're going to do, but we are looking at doing some movie nights. We will email you probably or text you when that decision has been some of the ones we're looking at. They're just examples. Do you want to?
Sure. Okay, I think everybody here probably already knows what Axe My Tax is and knows that we did not get enough signatures last year to have this ballot initiative put on the ballot. Carla Wagner is the lady who's in charge of this initiative. She's way ahead of the game from where we were at last year. She's already got the wording and everything is all approved. And the actual ballot signatures are going to start to be collected April 1st. So she's just looking for anybody that can to go to her website. It's axemytax.org. Sign up to be a distributor, a volunteer, contribute some money because like everything, like, you know, everybody always needs money for printing up these ballots and everything else. But we're going to be pushing this real hard again. We plan on anybody who can helping to distribute these, to get signatures, being at Jimmy's Roadhouse again to gather signatures, knocking on doors to gather signatures. We are going to do everything we can to get this on the ballot this time around.
Yeah.
What election would that be on, if you get the signatures?
If we get it on I believe that it will be on the 26th ballot.
Okay.
Yep.
The signature collecting will go on for about 6 months. That's the timeline.
Yes, they can only go for 6 months.
Jim, how many signatures you looking for?
600,000.
600,000, I think, automatically comes into law.
Oh.
Yeah, I think you're right.
At least that's what I was told last time, because,
I thought it took that many to get it on the ballot. I
No.
could be wrong.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
think if you repeal it, it's 600,000.
We'll have to look into it.
They always want more than is required
Yeah.
to get it
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
ballot because the state will do their very best to get it all, you know.
Right.
How many did you get last time?
I never heard a final number. I know that we didn't quite have enough. They came pretty close. We got
Yeah,
about
I think we did.
3/4 of the number that we needed. But I don't know if there was any actual, where they went through and verified how many of those were actually valid signatures, because they wanted more than enough in order that they had the ones that weren't valid were thrown out, they'd still have plenty to get it on the ballot, is what I was told.
Yeah, Rick. If we get the signatures, it goes on the ballot. It goes for a vote to the public. That's how you're getting around the legislature. If it gets voted in.
Well, you can come to Grant Tire, we'll have them out there again.
Rick did a great job last year of collecting signatures on
And
that
we're-
ballot initiative.
May I say, we're ahead of the game because so many more people know about it now and understand it now.
Yep.
Who at first did not
Right,
and resisted it. So-
yep, so now people will gladly sign ballot
Did
initiative.
anybody get the postcard in the mail?
I think I did.
I got a postcard in the mail.
I did today.
I never did.
Recently?
We're gonna try to do some fundraisers as well this year. The one that we're looking at seriously is doing a first annual We the People golf tournament, golf outing. We are looking for somehow to organize a committee. We're looking for sponsors. But first off, we'd really like to get a committee going. So that's one of the key things that we want to start. So if anybody is interested in helping on a golf tournament committee, that would be great. The more the merrier, because it is a lot of work to put on a golf outing, for sure. And also sponsors. If anybody knows, we're looking for some big heavy hitter sponsors to start with. We want to hit a couple of people that we know would possibly be willing to do so. So if you know any sponsors that would be willing to contribute pretty hefty dollar, let us know that as well. That love us as Grassroots. That's one of the keys that we have to put in there. And then donations. We're always looking for money. Understand, folks, we do this for free. We don't get paid. We don't collect a check. This is all completely volunteer services that we do here. It's very time consuming. We put in a lot of effort. We do a lot of functions, as you saw at the very beginning, where we did the 2024 in review. So anything that we can do to earn or to gain more funds to the grassroots efforts is greatly appreciated. Most of our efforts, most of the money either goes to a candidate or it goes to putting on some type of fundraiser. Or just community awareness, like we did coffee hours. Well, we don't make money off the coffee hours, we actually spend money on the coffee hours. So when we're bringing the sheriff and the Joe Fox to our coffee hours to talk to our community, that's actually costing the grassroots money. And many people don't understand that because we don't really share that information very well. But most of this effort is from the donations we collect. So the more donations we collect, what was that one?
Time's up.
It's time to be done.
Just talk loud, baby.
So
There you go.
the more donations we collect, the more we can do with the community and for the community. So that's one of our big things. So if you go to our Grassroots monthly, you can do a monthly donation for $5. I mean, as little as $5 a month comes directly out of your checkbook. You might not miss it. You might, in this economy, you probably would. But, or you could do it quarterly and it would come out once a quarter. So it's not like it's something that's, you don't have to go into every single time to make that effort.
You can do it one time.
You could do a one-time donation, yeah. They've got the one-time button, monthly and quarterly. But if you do the monthly or the quarterly, it just automatically comes out of your account. Nothing more to it.
Some people might not like it coming out of your account. You can put it on, I think mine comes out of a credit card.
Oh, does it? Okay.
You can put it on a credit card? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, you could just add it to your credit card and then pay the one bill every month. Okay, that works good. I didn't think of it that way. That's a good idea, Joni. Anybody have any questions or anything for the whole night? Yeah.
For the county convention at the end of the month, will we have a meeting before that, like, you know?
Like we do the pre-convention?
The pre-convention meeting?
I'm not sure if we're gonna do a pre-convention this time. You like those? Do you? Okay. Well, we haven't, as a Grassroots, we haven't gotten that far yet, but we probably will because we've done one all the time, every time. So we probably will. But you can plan on it, probably at American Decency if they have the space open. Any other questions? Rick?
Anybody that's a precinct delegate, John Llewellyn said if you want to go to the state convention, you should let him know.
Yes.
And I've already done that. They say get your name in there, because that's gonna be the slate.
Yep. Well, it's gonna be the slate plus the, alternates, but they're still gonna probably be, unless they vote the slate out, we don't know how the order of the slate's gonna go, you know, the 15 that are gonna get to vote and the alternates.
You know, according to the night that John, just became chair for Newaygo, he said, you know, I'm not gonna do a slate, and the Grassroots are gonna do a slate. He said, if you wanna go, let me know.
Right, right.
So,
Yeah, so we
Right,
shouldn't,
but we don't know the order of the people that he's gonna put on the
so we
slate.
shouldn't be calling it a slate, correct?
Well, it's
Well,
a
whatever you
slate,
wanna call
it's
it.
still a slate.
This letter was very confusing. I actually had the impression from it that he was, and this could just be me, but I just had the impression that he was going to put people on a slate based on when they asked him. First people to ask got on, but I
Wow.
don't know that.
Yeah, you
Across the
didn't, they didn't
country,
say
just get
that.
a list, and when at the convention, we circle who we want,
I
and then we
know,
tally it in.
that's the way it should be.
Well, things don't go that, you know, the way they should be all the time in the
No,
way.
not here.
Clearly.
Not in Newaygo County.
Doesn't go smoothly.
Like it's different every time. The rules are always different.
Yeah. All right, our next meeting is February 10th. We would really appreciate you guys to get the word out about the candidates that are shown here from the MIGOP chair candidates. Share that information. We will do our best to get a graphic out, posting it on Facebook and that type of thing. And then also our email and text message will also include that information as well. So that's that. And then help us share our meeting information. Take as many of the cards that we have in the back. We do have our new 2025 meeting cards available. So take as many of those as you can, pass them out, and let people know that we exist. Yeah. Go ahead, Teresa.
I was gonna ask Chris if he would like to give us a Goshen on. I didn't give one in December because it was our Christmas party and I hadn't gone to the Christmas party.
A lot of people do want to know what's going on in Goshen. They don't really know.
Before he does that, can I just say, there is some merchandise over there. If you're interested in it, go after it right away, because we have to be out of this room at 8 o'clock. So anyhow, we can get there. And there's extra pizza, if you'd like to buy some extra pizza, put some money in the box and take it.
So, for Goshen, we're in the middle of a lawsuit with the township. The Goshen suing the township. What we do or have heard, or the rumor, as the crow flies, is that the stuff in Illinois is being scaled back, even though Goshen wants you to think it's going up. In Illinois is being scaled back, and everything's kind of contingent on what happens with the lawsuit. If we win and the appeal stays with us and the township wins, then we have a feeling that Goshen's just going to pick up and leave and either go full force Illinois or also leave there too. Well, I don't know. We also do know that, if anyone knows about the JCPenney store in Big Rapids, that Goshen was operating out of.
What?
Oh, you didn't know that?
No, I didn't.
Oh, you really?
They leased it.
They leased it. It was supposed to be their local office in the meantime. Well, they don't have that lease anymore. Okay, that's supposedly what we heard. And the person that they hired to be the something there, she's on some committees, I'm not going to give her name, but they hired her earlier this year, she's fired. So, why would you hire the person? And there's been some committees that she's been elected to and appointed to, like Manna Pantry and things like that, solely because of her connection to Goshen, because then they would have a Goshen representative on the board. And that person is no longer here with the Goshen, so why would that be happening? Also, a person that was supposed to be like a general manager of the Goshen plant lives out on Horsehead Lake. His house is for sale. Supposedly that job fell through. He left his other job for this Goshen job. So things are moving, it's always was going to be a slow process. It doesn't matter what way, doesn't matter what anyone else said. It's gonna be slow. There was nothing that we could do to stop it, even though some people believe so. No, it was gonna go through the courts, and it's gonna be slow. I think we'll have, we'll know probably more around the springtime. It all depends on what the courts in, what circuit court is, what's the appeals court in Ohio? Six? Yeah, so the 6, whatever they say. The advantage is, well, the judge that we have in the federal case is our Grand Rapids, appointed by Whitmer, or Biden, one of them, whatever. Not good, but we knew that the appeals court was appointed by Trump. And so we knew we're hoping that we will do good in the appeals. And if we get the appeals, then it should go away. We'll know sometime in the spring.
And the county?
Oh, the county did rescind support. So the county commissioners, the 4 that we put in, or we promoted, however you want to say that, whatever. The 4 that now that we have a majority, day 1, they got sworn in January 2nd. Within 5 minutes of being sworn in, the chairman, Chris Zimmerman, became chairman, and he added to the agenda. That's the first time that I've seen that happen, where they add something to the agenda. He took the resolution that somebody, I don't know who, wrote up about a year ago that tried to convince the old board, members of the old board that were recalled, that were on the GOP of Mecosta County, to put on the agenda. They never did, so we kind of were like, well, you're done. So we got Zimmerman to put that on. Within 5 minutes, it was added to the agenda of him becoming chairman, and they voted on it, and it became 5-2. So we flipped another board member that we didn't replace or couldn't get replaced. So that happened. Anything else?
Any word on Chen Li giving a deposition?
So I think that's contingent on the appeals, the decision of the 6th.
Okay, because last I heard is that he had to.
Yes, he does.
Okay.
But it has, what they're doing is, Goshen doesn't want Chen Li. If anyone doesn't know, Chen Li is the CEO, he's in China, he's part of the CCP, blah, 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 blah. Goshen didn't want him to be deposed. Our lawyers, not my lawyers, the township lawyers, they're very good, and they wanted him to be deposed. So whoever said, okay, no, they fought back, and they said, nope, you have to get him deposed. So they're going to wait for the appeals decision, and they're going to do everything they can to prevent Chen Li from being deposed. That's why they're waiting until after the appeals, when this will be forced. And then that's the point where we think that they're going to say, never mind, we're not going to go with Goshen. We're going to quietly walk away because we don't want him deposed. But if he does get deposed, that will be interesting.
I know, that would be very interesting.
I think all the lawyers want to be there. They'll go to California for that. So, yes.
Yeah, was there another plant that was gonna be built in Marshall?
So that's a cattle. That's with the Ford. It is a Chinese-owned. The MIGOP, the Republican Party is scaling back. They scaled back support on that, obviously, with the Goshen. But they're the Republican Party is trying to, or the Republicans are trying to claw back. That's the oversight that State Rep Joe Fox was talking about, the oversight. They want to claw back the money we gave to cattle and we gave to Goshen and all that. And then there's also the Goshen plant in Illinois, Manteno. Anything else? No. That's about it that I could think of. Anybody going to the inauguration? No? I am. I was just wondering if I'd be seeing anybody, so I'll be there, but yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Somebody tries to talk you into going into